But first, as food prices have soared recently, feeding your family is getting more and more expensive. I'm joined now by chef and author Mitch Lane, who reckons you can actually feed a family of 4 on just £5 per meal. If you want to share your tips on how you've been saving money on your food shop and feeding the family, then do get in touch. But before we dig into exactly what he says that he can do, Tessa, have you been... How do you save money around the family meals?
Can I say, I'm just very excited about tucking into a couple of plates of
We've
food.
opened a restaurant.
The man's come down from the north. We'll ask him about the cost of his coming shortly, bringing his sausages with him. Well, I came with my own money-saving tip. Okay. I don't like the word hack, it's an Americanism. So I arrive in the lift of this building, clutching my money-saving device, and your very beautiful research assistant, Sophie, said, "What's that?" And she went, "Is it a lettuce?" And I'm like, for God's sake, no wonder kids are starving to death and unable to feed themselves, because she couldn't even identify the humble British-grown cauliflower.
Where do you plug it in? How does it work?
Right. The key here is a Mitch, isn't it? 1.2 million on TikTok.
Crazy. Crazy.
You can literally eat all the cauliflower. Okay. And that's the raw one, and they're my own teeth. And it's now got lipstick on it. But the point being is a lot of people... I don't think she recognised it, because most people don't realise, do they?
You can eat the leaves,
That you can
the
eat
leaves are the most delicious part.
Would you like a
Do you know what? I've never ate the leaves.
Oh, Danielle.
Okay.
I eat a lot of cauliflower, but I've never ate the leaves.
No, bloody good, aren't they? Oh, can I say that on air?
Well, you just did. So,
They'd be all right in a bit of hummus, I think.
I did not think that we were going to be passing on raw cauliflower when we planned the show today.
Oh, guess the cost.
Oh, yes, yeah, that's the most important part.
I bought it in a small supermarket, i.e. rip-off, fake, you know what I mean?
One of the
Expresses.
The urban ones, yeah.
Have a guess.
It's going to be dear, that. It's £1.40.
No, 60p?
Oh, I'm going to go 50p.
£1 10
See,
What?
I knew it was over a quid.
That is overpriced.
Over a quid for a cauliflower.
That is overpriced. But roast that up and it's going to be lovely.
Taking it home.
Mitch, let's come to you. Is it possible, because we were all wondering in the office, how can you do it? Is it possible to feed a family of 4 so they don't go hungry for £5 per meal?
Absolutely, yeah, it is possible. Don't get me wrong, it's tough out there at the moment. Yeah. Obviously, the cost of living's crazy, and the price of food's just going up and up and up all the while. So it is incredibly difficult. But yeah, you've got to really be quite, smart with the way you do it. Like, I mean, getting meat into a budget meal these days is just
Mitch, I have
so
been watching you, and I did see that it seems a lot easier to make a more substantial meal if it's a veggie meal. That is really sad, I think. And I've got a family of 6, and I will say this. Let me just say I love what you're doing, and I'm all for saving money. But I have been trolled on the internet just recently because I dared to say how much I spent on food for my family of 6, and apparently got called a liar for it and outrageous.
How much?
With everything included, and I'm talking about washing products, and I'm talking about my toilet rolls and everything, but I easily spend £250 on feeding us all and keeping us all for a week. Easily.
Okay.
If you talk about your co-op runs and do you know what I mean? Yeah. Easily.
Do you go for the luxury finest
I do go with meat.
Okay.
So I will admit that. When I buy meat, I try and buy expensive meat.
I want to bring us back to these meals and people wondering, well, how on earth can you get that meal for £5? So, firstly, we should say you've written a book about it.
Yeah.
Of course, which is called Feed Your Family
Does it cost
for
under
a £5.
If only. I can only dream, honestly. I wish
Feed Your Family
I wish it did.
for a £5.
It's out today, anyway.
And also, they're very quick recipes. But let's look at a breakdown of some of these recipes and how much you've spent on them. I believe we've got... Which one we've got first? Here, we've got the veggie one, which is the veggie stir-fry that we've got here. So we've got the prices here on the screen.
Yeah. Those are all the raw ingredients, what it takes to make it. And when you look at it, I mean, it's all very humble. It's all very basic. There's nothing in there fancy, really. It's all something that you can go into any supermarket and get. So it's quite convenient as well. It's cheap, convenient, and it's quick. That's the beauty about
Do you know what really
stir-fry.
interests me about this? I think I definitely carry this misconception that the beige food is cheaper. So, like, if I'm running out of time and I give them baked beans, fish fingers and some chips, oven chips, then that will be quite cheap, but it won't be healthy. The kind of beige. Whereas this is super colourful.
Do you guys have got forks in front of you? You can have a little taste of the veggie.
Okay.
So when those prices that we saw there as well, you've itemised them here. So you've bought a big bag of carrots, and then you've estimated that it's going to cost one carrot out of that. It's going to be.
I actually bought that carrot as a single. In some supermarkets, you can go in there and just buy a single carrot, and I went out and bought a single bulb of garlic, single piece of ginger as well. Okay. So some supermarkets, you can actually go in there.
It can be more expensive though, can't it? You have to work it out.
It can. You've got to work it out. But if you know you're only going to need one pepper, just go in there and buy one pepper.
Did you knock this up in the studio? It's warm.
No, it's been in the microwave. I cooked that last night.
There's this thing called the microwave, Tessa.
I know, but they look so fresh. They don't look like they've been slaughtered in the microwave.
Now, one of the things that always comes up, Mitch, when we talk about food, when we talk about people cooking at home on a budget, a lot of the calls that we'll get, Tessa and I have talked about this, I know, when she was on here a few times before, that people are saying, look, the money doesn't work. It's easier for us to buy something that's made off or a takeaway or things like that. Now, we went out today and we had a look at some of the prices of ready-made meals from supermarkets.
They're expensive these days.
And we've got them here. Look, this is the cottage pie from Tesco, £4.25, £3.25 the cottage pie from Sainsbury's, and the cottage pie from Asda, £3. And the thing is, they are for one.
That's a one.
That's a one portion.
Exactly, that's one portion.
So actually, when you want to feed a family of four, that becomes way more expensive than what you're suggesting here.
Can I just say as well, what's upsetting is I can cook. I can't cook like you, but I can cook good enough. My mum taught me. But I don't think we do teach children in school enough about cooking.
Because they think that's a lettuce.
Well, exactly. And as well as that, apparently our school that worked near us, the classes for home ec were oversubscribed and some kids couldn't get onto the home ec classes. So kids do want to learn how to cook and they enjoy
you know why they want to be on the home ec, so they can lick the bowl and flirt with the girls.
Well, for whatever reason, but the boys are doing it just the same, and my boys both took home ec, and I think it's fantastic. But what I will say is, you can only do it cheap if you're cooking from scratch, and people are working so hard to pay bills that I know. I've got a friend who's working all hours and just wouldn't have the time.
How was that, by the way?
That is so good, and it tingles on your tongue. There's a wee bit of chilli, isn't it?
Yeah.
Would you like me to give you some?
No, I don't want you to feed me live on daytime TV. Lynn in Bedfordshire has got in touch. Lynn, welcome to the show. What would you like to say, Lynn?
Well, I personally feel that when we go shopping, you should more or less plan in your head what you're going to cook that week. Mm-hmm. I recently bought a chicken from a well-known company, reduced to £4. Out of that chicken, I did 4 roast dinners, followed with the carcass and the leftover chicken for soup and dumplings. So I had 6 meals, which cost about £8.
That's fantastic. I mean, this is one of your, because you're known for sort of teaching people how to save money, and this is one of your major tips, isn't it? Be organised.
The reality is, I mean, I'm guilty of it myself. Yeah. I've gone into a supermarket without a plan of action, and you're just dashing everything in the trolley. You know, and before you know it, you've just got a mishmash of ingredients, and you haven't really got anything to make a proper meal, and you're like, messing around. So if you're going shopping, go in there with a clear-cut plan of action, what you're having all week. Plan your meals out, and you won't be spending a fortune.
And he's right about recycling the chicken. My husband always laughs at me, but I'm boiling up the bones, and then you can get a soup with some flavour. Much better than the stock.
I do the bones in it. I put my chicken bones into a soup. But you know what? One chicken only just feeds 6 of us. We have a chicken, and that's on a Sunday, and it's a treat. And I buy a nice one, but still, it feeds 6 people. That's it. And we are not a greedy family.
You buy a cauliflower.
We're all very healthy.
You can do a cauliflower soup with the stock, and that'll do you for the month.
Are you being sponsored by cauliflower?
No, I'm just thinking it's an...
You can't just have chicken and cauliflower. You've got to have more ingredients.
You don't.
Let's look at your next recipe.
Sausages.
This is the Mediterranean sausage.
Look at that. I mean,
that's a lovely looking plate of food.
Exactly. You eat your eyes, don't you, before you eat with
You do. It does look really fit, this food.
We've got the ingredients list as well here. Here we go. We've got your 15 pence for your onion, 69p for your tomatoes. You've got your sausages there. Now, you were mentioning... Oh, by the way, that for 4 portions of that comes to £4.44.
Incredible, isn't it?
Which is incredibly good.
Yeah.
Now, you were mentioning that actually getting meat into your recipes is problematic because it costs more.
That's the problem. You've got to use cheaper cuts, unfortunately. If you're really trying to make a budget meal. I mean, that is the cheapest pack of sausages I could find.
Yeah. That is the only thing that I would say. They look a bit peely-wally,
They do.
sausages.
They're not the greatest of quality, but if you want to get a bit of meat in there, you've got to use the 20% fat minced beef. You'll be using chicken on the bone, like the wings, the legs, the drumsticks.
That's what I mean. It bumps my bill up getting
Would you buy, as a budget cook, would you buy... Because I remember when we sort of did a little bit of work in commercial kitchens, a chicken... 2 restaurants is thought of as 8 portions. You can get 8 portions. So would you always say, learn kind of how to, or ask your butcher to do it for you, but buy a whole chicken rather than buying thighs or wings or breasts? Is it going to be more cost effective?
It is, because what we do on a Sunday is we'll buy a whole chicken. We'll have a roast dinner with that chicken.
Yeah.
And then what we do is any of the leftover meat we'll save for the Monday, and we'll put it in a chicken and bacon pasta bake.
Yeah. Right.
And you're stretching that chicken over 2 nights then.
OK, let's hear from Marie, because I think Marie has to double up everything we've just been talking about, because Marie, I believe you're a mum of 8.
Wow.
I am, that's correct, yes, hello.
How on earth do you budget, Marie?
I don't at the moment, it's very hard. It's very, very hard to budget, very hard.
Go ahead, Marie.
I think it depends where you shop, really,
Right.
and what you buy, what products. Bulk buying, a lot of people do. It's finding the right places to go, really, and just knowing your budget completely.
But what about using different parts of the carcass? I spoke to my mum this morning in the name of research, and she said they used to use the neck. You know, you get the neck of mutton, and you'd put that in a nice Scotch broth, or the oxtail, and bits like that in the butcher cost much less than if you go for a good haunch of beef.
There was a time where oxtail was actually a budget cut of meat.
Yeah.
But now it's
no.
so expensive.
I know.
That you can't
Yeah,
get
it is.
oxtail.
Even oxtail.
I just don't know. It's just ramped up in price.
That's what's happened.
Marie, thank you. Gosh, having to feed 8 kids.
Can we eat a bit of this?
Yes, you could tuck into that whilst I read some messages. Mark on Twitter says, I'm able to make my lunch all week for under £5 and it's very healthy. Well done to you, Mark. Victoria on Twitter says, no, definitely not. Not because 2 of my family members have food allergies, so I have to spend more money. Now, Mitch, this is interesting. Dealing with possibly kids that have got particular tastes, likes, dislikes. What's your advice there?
I wish I had the magic formula for it. I've got 3 kids myself, and they're all fussy in their own, each an individual way. And I'm still experimenting with different foods. I've tried them with all sorts of stuff, and you always tend to default back to the thing they always eat. And one of my kids will only eat pasta with no sauce on.
That's
Why have
the
anything
same.
on it? And
My
you're like,
youngest is so fussy. I can't serve spaghetti bolognese for every single meal because that's all he wants.
It's a really weird thing as a parent, because my first one, she ate anything, and you think, I've gamed this, I'm the perfect parent, she eats anything. And then you get another child, you try the same formula, and they're fussy as hell. You can't feed them anything.
Everyone's different, aren't they? And I wish I had the answer, but like my kids are just terribly fussy.
OK, look, one quick question before we go, and these guys annihilate that plate of Mediterranean sausage.
That is delicious, by the way.
Your store cupboard must-haves. If you want to be saving money, what should your store cupboard have inside?
OK, I mean, obviously the bare necessities, salt, black pepper, some form of cooking oil, olive oil, veg oil, whatever. I mean, I like my chilli and my spice, so I've always got chilli flakes, bit of chilli powder in the cupboards, but it tends to be to your own preference. I try and get some of the basic seasonings in, like garlic powder, onion powder.
Can I ask a really quick question? This looks like it spent hours to stew the vegetables beautifully. How do you do that in 30 minutes?
Honestly, that's a tray bake. You chuck everything onto the tray, season it up, chuck it in the oven for half an hour and it's done. There you go. As simple as that.
And if you'd like to find out more of Mitch's delicious recipes, you can buy Mitch's book. It's called Feed Your Family for a Fiver in Under 30 Minutes. And it's available now. Mitch, thank you. Lovely to see you.
Thanks for having me.